everyday carry is something that I do every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not involved with something on my body. So you ask guys to take out what they have on the show, and that's what I'll do. So I've got other things that I carry, and we just talked about that with somebody else, and that was, how do we escalate? I have what's on me, which is the A+ answer, but then how do I get to a sling bag or a backpack? And then even further, how do I get to my vehicle or a building? You know, that's continuing to increase your platform and escalate your capabilities. That's what I'm always going to try to do. But right now, what's on me, first and foremost, I always talk about faith. We have to increase our faith and to be able to know and have the wisdom to make decisions like being on that scene with that guy that has road rage. But these two are the most important things. Now, am I carrying this in my back pocket? No. But having the word and having my rosary is a level of protection that's undeniable, and also gives me peace, wisdom, and clarity on how to make these decisions that follow up with it. As far as firearms go, I have a 365 XL. I have an extra magazine. I have the 15 rounder, and it looks very similar to this, but I'm not going to pull it out here. I have the Dynamis holster, which is clipped in with the 0 clips. One clip is on the belt. The other clip is clipped onto the jeans, which it gives it kind of an offset load and gives me double retention on both of those. If for some reason I pulled my belt off or I had more dynamic, but it also pushes the pistol grip back towards me a little bit more as well. So it's a little bit of a method there. As far as the blade I'm carrying today, I've got the Neptune blade on me. I've been carrying this a lot more, especially during the summer months where I'm either sweating or in and out of the water, but found myself in and out of the salt water quite a bit lately. And again, when I'm doing that, I'm going to use something like this. I've got the Dynamis IWB sheath, which is purpose-built for in the waistband carry, for comfort, being minimalist, and also having the 0 clip on you. So even if you're wearing board shorts, you can carry this on a daily basis. I know a lot of people are still trying to figure out what blade to carry, what's good, if I want to have something with me every day. Well, that's why we designed this. Literally, no matter what you're using, I like to use this 0 clip so you can carry it on anything that you have on you. I've got my Dangle wallet, which I've talked about that before, especially on the Sean Ryan podcast. This wallet has been awesome as far as the adaptability of it, but also being able to take notes. You know, if I'm watching something or if I'm watching a video on YouTube, I'll literally pull this thing out, and instead of typing somewhere, I'm able to take notes to be attentive. I take notes in church and when it matters. So I think that having this on you is critical for doing, you know, your everyday carry stuff. And it's slim. You have a pen and a notebook all in one. The other thing I have in here, which my buddy Jeff just made for me, one of my bros in Virginia Beach, is How to Pray the Rosary card, which it's a great reminder of all of the prayers and mysteries that go along with that. And it just folds up like a business card. And there are all little things in here. You know, I carry extra cash on me always. You never know when you're going to need cash. I've had multiple instances where I pull out cash. I've got my concealed carry card, business cards, and anything else that you would find in an average wallet. The other thing that I have, which is a prototype, and you guys will see this at some point, but this is the Dynamis keychain, which is a nice little convenient coin pouch at the end of this, and my keys to the most important things that I need to open up. And then the other thing I have on is the Dynamis belt. This belt goes with me everywhere. I don't ever leave, whether it's even through TSA, the airport, traveling overseas, or just on a regular day basis. One of the things I want to point out with this is that it also has a coin pouch at the very end of this belt that you can put quarters in here. And I typically recommend about 15 quarters, but I use it for the ability to have an impact weapon on you in the case that you don't have anything else. It's always with you. But here's the difference I want to talk about this is that I like to contrast it in understanding if I have a blade or a firearm on me, I don't have my belt loaded with coins because I already have something else to use. I already have an escalation of force, hands, blade, gun, where if I'm using something like this, then I'm using an impact weapon. Well, that's all that I have typically, or even that and a blade. So it's depending on the combination, your lifestyle, your ability to carry, your state laws, All of those things are going to dictate what you're carrying on a daily basis. But I wanted to contrast that. And I always have two belts. One is loaded, ready to go, where it has an impact tool on it. Or I have my belt on that's more slick, where I have a key in it, some cash, and maybe a couple of coins where it's not fully loaded like this one would be. So this is something that has done really, really well for people. It's a minimalistic option that I just love this. It's comfortable and it's my go-to because it's so simple. I mean, it is literally, you look at it, you're like, huh, wow, why didn't I think of that? Or why don't I have that on a daily basis? So I'd highly recommend guys looking into that. And what else do I have on me? Obviously, I got my iPhone. I've got my Garmin watch, which obviously is important for, I've gone back to being able to have something where I can tell time right away and keeping it simple. I think for a long time, we got used to saying, hey, we got a phone. You have your iPhone on you. Why do you need a watch? Well, in the world where we have so many distractions, I think actually having a watch that just tells the time is very, very critical because there's so many parts of my day where I need to reference what's going on and not be distracted by everything else. So that's part of the reason I carry a watch. Also, if I jump in the water or I'm free diving or I need to time something, that is probably a daily thing as well. And I don't think that we should be without a watch that can really be there as an asset because it can do so much. And a tourniquet. This is the last thing I'll talk about, but you guys have heard me talk about snake staff. These are some other tourniquets that I carry. Cat has been one that I've carried for a long time. I have one of those in my bag. And what's the difference? Snake staff came out with this minimalistic option. This doesn't leave my side. And it's one of those things where it's no excuse. Could I wear something that this just becomes a little bit too bulky for me to be comfortable with carrying it? Yes, of course, which is why I like this minimalistic option. I like the ability to be able to carry this in my pocket. You see how thin that is compared to this. Now, the one thing that you are, and I don't even want to use the word sacrificing because it does work really well, but that surface area, you're losing a little bit of surface area where if I had two to grab off the shelf, I'm going to grab the larger Cat first. But if I'm traveling, this is one of the things that there's just no excuse not to have. It's too small to say that you blew off carrying a tourniquet on a daily basis. Knowing how to use this and knowing how to have it on you, no matter who you are, is just one of those things I tell everybody I come across. Family, friends, brothers, people at church, have one of these things on you so you don't have an excuse in the event that somebody ends up with a life-threatening bleed. So that's the majority of what I have on my person every single day. Oh, of course, my scapular as well. And Noah, you taped my scapular to my chest. But hey, I'm not going to pull it all the way out, but it's still here. Always carry this for protection as my shield. Having these things on you. There's background to all these. There's obviously a deep history on why that's important to me. We're physical beings, so we have physical things in our lives to remind us what we're called to. And that's the same thing with a blade, reminding ourselves, hey, we live a warrior lifestyle. We're responsible. We have a duty to not only use this thing respectfully, but also to protect others. Same thing with the rosary, to trigger me, to remember my faith, to remember the peace that I have. The tourniquet, to remember I have the permission, I have the skills and the capabilities to save either one of my children's lives or somebody else that I might come across on a daily basis that could use this, that's got a life-threatening bleed that could potentially render aid and save somebody's life. Again, everyday carry is not something to get complacent about. Use the gear, apply it in your life, and take it seriously. Just like carrying a tourniquet on a daily basis, like this snake staff tourniquet that I carry. There's no excuses. I know why I carry this, and I want to apply that to my life. Don't get complacent about what you carry on a daily basis, guys. Use it. And in fact, talking about using it, I want to apply this snake staff tourniquet. And actually, there's one of the questions in this episode. We'll actually be putting this on. So if you don't know how to put one on, we'll be going over that here soon. And again, one of these things could save your life. It's too easy not to carry.